Hello everyone and welcome to Momentum channel. My name is Mo, and in this video we're going to be talking about four Vanguard low-cost small cap index funds for growth investors. All right, these four funds are Vanguard 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐖 All World excluding US small cap ETF with ticker symbol VSS. Then we have Vanguard Russell 2000 Growth ETF with ticker symbol VIWG. Next, we have Vanguard S&P Small Cap 600 Growth ETF with ticker symbol VIOG, and Vanguard Small Cap Growth ETF with ticker symbol VBK. As pointed out earlier on the onset of the video, these are all focused on small cap ETFs, and they are geared towards growth. They're all considered to be low cost. The first pick, VSS, has giving you exposure internationally, excluding the US, whereas the other three are giving you only exposure to small cap in the US. The risk tolerance from a risk potential, they're all at the highest level of risk. They're all considered small cap, highest risk. From an expense ratio perspective, the lowest expense ratio belongs to VSS at 0.07%, as well as VBK at only 0.07%. After that, we have VTWG and VIOG have slightly higher kind of fee, almost double that of the other two that we reviewed, and they have a fee of 0.15%. But in grand scheme of things, they are considered to be very, very low fees for these index funds. The last trading price for all of these funds are listed here. They're all available in New York Stock Exchange. The lowest price per share belongs to VIOG, which was last traded at the price of $92.86. And the highest is for VBK, traded at $208.25. Looking at the past performance and returns for these funds, the first one, if you look at it based on the past 1 year return, you notice that this fund was down by 21%. Based on their market price. The situation for VTWG was even worse. It was down by 26%. Afterwards, for the 1 year return for VIOG, it was also showing down by 21%. And the worst performance of all, the 1 year, was actually for VBK, down 28%. In a short period of time, obviously, that kind of triggers for you how risky these funds have been and how volatile and poor performance they've had. But over a longer period of time, their performance start to do better. For instance, if you look at the 10-year return, based on market price, we are seeing an annualized return of 4% for VSS, 9% plus for VTWG, almost 11% for VIOG, and around 9.3% for VBK. Those are the annualized return that we are noticing here. The inception dates for these funds also pointed out here. The fund that has been incepted the longest time in the past actually is the VBK with an inception date of January 26th of 2004. If you look at the top holdings for these funds, for Vanguard 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐖 All World excluding US small cap ETF, the top holdings include WSP Global, First Quantum Minerals, and Chemical Corporation. The top 10 holdings are shown here, all of which actually are the international businesses, excluding US ones. Whereas the other three, as pointed out, they're all US companies. So for instance, for Vanguard Russell 2000 Growth ETF, top one is MCore Group Incorporated. Next, we have Iridium Communications, and then Crocs. Those are the top three. Afterwards, for VIOG, the top three include Applied Industrial Technologies, SPS Commerce, and Comfort Systems USA Incorporated. And lastly, for VBK, we have 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐖𝐊 Corp, Targa Resources Corp, and Liberty Media Corp, Liberty Formula One. Those are the top three for the Vanguard Small Cap Growth ETF. You do also notice the percentage of these top 10 holdings in comparison to the entire holdings that they have. If you look at the breakdown diversification by the various sectors, the biggest sector exposure for VSS belongs to the industrials at 19.44%. Afterwards, their biggest exposure is to technology at 13.87%, and then they have The next big exposure to consumer cyclical at 12.19%. The situation is different for Vanguard Russell 2000 Growth ETF in a sense that the percentages are different. Here, your greatest exposure is actually to healthcare at 21.46%. Following very closely, we have exposure to technology at 21.14%. And if you look closely, the third big exposure is to industrials at 17.92%. For Vanguard S&P Small Cap 600 Growth ETF, ticker symbol VIOG, here your biggest exposure is indeed to the industrials at 18.99%. Following that, we have technology at the second biggest exposure at 17.12%, and then we have financial services at 16.33%. Lastly, looking at Vanguard Small Cap Growth ETF with ticker symbol VBK, your biggest exposure here greatly is to technology, almost more than a quarter of exposure by sector, 25% plus 26, almost 27% actually exposure here is to technology. Then following that, we have a big exposure here to healthcare at 19.95%. And then afterwards, we have the big exposure around 16.12% to industrials. As pointed out, for the last three ETFs here, they're all giving you exposure 100% to US companies, whereas for VSS, Vanguard FTSE All World, excluding US small cap ETF, your biggest exposure is to Canada at around 15.6%. Following that, we have Japan at around 14%. Then we have United Kingdom, Taiwan, and China. Those are the top 5 exposure breakdown by countries for VSS. There you have it, folks. A quick look into 4 high-quality exchange-traded funds that are considered to be index fund, low cost, and are all giving you exposure to small cap businesses. Given the exposure to small cap, it comes with a higher risk. You did notice as well there were a ton of volatility in the stock return and there's ETF returns in the past 1 year. They were down quite extensively. However, if you look at it over the longer period of time, they did kind of manage to perform better. One of them gives you exposure to small cap internationally, excluding the US, and the other 3 gives you exposure to those in the US markets. I hope you found this video beneficial and you gained something of value from it. This could be particularly of interest for investors who wanted to diversify their holdings and wanted to get more exposure to small cap businesses, but wanted to do it more passively without having to pick and choose businesses. If you did enjoy this video and gain something of value from it, please don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. Here on Momentum Finance, we post every week videos about investing, including investing in dividend stocks, growth stocks, passive investing. We also talk about ways to reach financial freedom. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next time.